Canine. Tonight we're going to be talking about the importance of having a specialist on board when you're doing fitness and conditioning with your dogs. I know everybody can go onto any YouTube or Google exercises, but why is it important that you have a specialist that can help you with these things? Let's have a look. Let me just get this here. There you go. So we're talking about your elite canine and their fitness and conditioning programs. Why is it important? Why do you need to have a specialist? We're talking about training and working on your sport dogs, how to prepare their bodies for the sport that they compete in. This is very important. I mean, your dog goes through a lot and we push them through high levels of sports. So how do we prepare their bodies so that it's safe for them to compete long term? Let's see how we're going to go. Just excuse me 1 second while I'm working with my system here. And oh, by the way, my name is Angela Hearn. I'm a Certified Canine Athlete Specialist, and I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this evening's live broadcast. So what we're going to talk about this evening is why consult a professional, the impact of fitness on training and competitive performance with your dogs, how incorrect fitness programs can negatively impact your sport dog. This is really important. So not all fitness programs work the same. Then we can look at some common mistakes at fitness, in fitness training, and what your handlers are doing that you're not helping your dog. And then when to start. When is the best time to start your fitness program with your canine athlete? So who am I? As I said earlier on, I'm a Certified Canine Athlete Specialist. And why should you consult a professional when you are considering your canine athlete's fitness and conditioning performance? So although we're primarily looking at dogs with high drive or they're really busy, but we're also looking for dogs that are busy, or the same applies for conformation ring sport dogs. I went to a conformation ring competition just the other day, and there was a dog there that was magnificent. It was beautiful. Its shape was perfect. And as soon as it started to walk, you could see that it wasn't fit. Its muscles weren't holding itself. It was hanging on its skeleton. And you think, oh no, this dog is beautiful. Its shape when it stands is perfect. And as soon as it starts to walk, you could see the sway and the swagger. And because of that, the judge actually commented on this for the handler, and the dog dropped back 3 places. So your fitness and what you're doing with your dog is important for your sport dog, your working dog that has to perform correctly every time they go out, and even your ring sports and your conformation rings. It's important that those dogs show off the best of that breed. So their musculature must be perfect to show the strength and the athleticism of that dog. So about me being an athlete specialist, first of all, I'm not a physio vet and I'm not a veterinarian. That means I don't diagnose disease and I don't treat disease, or I don't treat injured dogs. I'm the person before. So you could say I'm more your prehab specialist. So when I receive a dog, they come through to me. I have veterinary clearance that they are able to conduct a fitness and conditioning program, and we train for their sport. Or alternatively, if a dog has gone through physio and they've completed their physio program or their rehab program, and now they need continued ongoing assessment and training and maintenance programs for their health and fitness, I'm the person that you see. So I draw up their plan. We keep in contact with their physio veterinarian by giving reports. We explain that these areas are improving or these areas may not be improving. And so your physio, your rehab veterinarian is always in contact with me. My job is to pick up injuries before they become a problem and get them sorted out quickly. So that's where my expertise lies. We pick up if there's any faults, we pick them up sooner rather than later, before there's a big problem and your dog is out of sport for a while now. or we take your dog and we get them to where they need to be in order to compete at their highest level for their particular sport. That's really important. I'm directly involved in training myself. I'm a trainer and a competitor for IGP sports. I love impact sports and protection sports. I love it. That's where my passion lies. But I am also into, I've studied various other sports like your agility, your hunt, point, retrieve. So I'm able to give the exercises that are particular to your dog's body and also to that dog's sport. That's really important. So sport-specific exercises is really important because not all exercises are required for all sports. And you can see this quite easily if you look at different dogs. How do you find value for training in your competitive performance? So if you are, many people, they run their dogs. That's how they keep them fit. But if you look at your long distance runner and you compare it to your 100-meter athlete, the build is completely different. Your long distance runner has got endurance and it's got stamina, and he can go and he can go, and his muscles are long and lean, whereas your 100-meter runner has got instant power, instant sport, and instant strength, and he's able to perform right there and then, give his best for a short period of time, and then that's it. So what does your sport require of your dog? A hunt, point, retrieve dog will have different exercise requirements to an IGP dog, or to a fly ball dog, or to a dock diving dog. Each dog has got different requirements. So the impact of fitness and training on competitive performance is specific to your dog's sport, but also to your dog's build and structure. We analyze structure for performance, not for the breed ring or for the breed specification of your dog, but for the performance that that dog has to do. So we look at your dog's structure and we take into account the angulation and conformation of the front end and shoulders and the hind end and shoulders, the length of the body, etc., for what is required. How does your dog's sport impact that dog's body? For example, I've got 3 German Shepherds and they all look a little bit different. They all are not all the same at all. So when I look at the sporting requirements for them, the one has got a much straighter shoulder line, and I know that that shoulder will be much more stable, but there will be more impact on the dog when we do jumps, but the turns will be more stable, whereas a bigger angulated shoulder will have much more shock absorption of the jumps, but the turns they will lose a little bit of stability in the turns, and so we would have to work on the stability of those turns when they do a retrieve or when they do a blind. So we always look at matching the dog with the sport and the dog's structure with the sport that it's doing. We never give a generic program. If somebody says this is a generic program for agility dogs or for fly ball dogs, please take it with a pinch of salt, because they're not looking at your dog in that sport. You must remember, when you're doing a fitness program, you want to increase value of that program for your dog. So you want to have better muscle memory and proprioception. So where your dog is in space as he's turning, does he know where his feet need to be? If your dog is fighting a helper and suddenly there's a slip on the sleeve, is his body able to correct himself quickly? Does his body know, does the muscles know what to do to regain balance quickly? Similarly, if you're doing agility and you're the first person on the field and there's dew on the grass, and so now your dog is jumping and has to do a tight turn in order to get over a piece of equipment, can your dog's body recover quickly on that slippery surface? So that's what you want to get, that muscle memory and proprioception control, that quick response in order for their dog to gather its body again, to boost forward with speed and power and continue its trial. So when we are doing these things together, like I said, we are matching programs with people. So we look at your dog, we look at your sport, and we look at your lifestyle, because let's face it, life happens in between training. And we don't just stop everything we do and just train our dog. We need to fit this in with our training, and we have to incorporate it with our training so that we can get the best for our dog. And that's what your specialist does. He takes all of those things into consideration when they put a program for you. So we're looking at you and your lifestyle, your dog, your structure of your dog, and your sport. And we put all of these things together in a detailed program that is made just for you. It's not made for somebody else. We'll see, let me see if we go there, your incorrect fitness programs. And I've seen this, or I've heard this, where somebody says, oh, my dog has gone for rehab and they gave me all these exercises to do to increase his core strength or shoulder strength. You can also try it with your dog. Please be careful. That rehab specialist has had to deal with a dog with an injury. So there's been an imbalance somewhere in that dog's body. And the first thing that physio and rehab veterinarian has to do is regain balance and regain structural movement and full range of motion. When somebody comes to you and says, oh, try this with your dog hasn't got the injury. Your dog is fine. It has range of motion. And those exercises need to be slightly tweaked for your dog. So if you're going to do the same exercises that an injured dog was doing, you may be doing your dog a disservice. So that would be an incorrect fitness exercise for your dog, which will then incorrectly and negatively impact your dog's performance. So where the physio vet was trying to increase a range of motion for the injured dog, and now you're doing it, you may be causing an imbalance and not necessarily increasing your dog's range of motion and causing a new gait movement that is not natural for your dog. So these things you must take into consideration, because if you continue, you will increase injury in your dog. Because they're fine and now they've got these wrong movements that they've got to incorporate into their sport. And it's difficult for them to do. They will do everything that you tell them to because your dog wants to please you. That's what it does. So you will increase your risk injury and you will create the complete reverse outcome, which is not for your dog and not for your sport. And your sport will start to decline. And then you're going to think, oh, what's all with the fitness thing? It doesn't work. It's a load of rubbish. Meanwhile, you've taken incorrect advice. You haven't sought somebody that will look at your dog's work and your sport, your dog's structure. This is really important, guys. So, common mistakes that are made when fitness training happens with dogs that are not with a specialist. First of all, there's no inspection or repairs. So the first thing that we do is we look at your dog and we assess your dog for performance and structure, and we look at how things work. So if you don't have that, there's an incorrect or no assessment of performance structure, and it keeps any underlying weaknesses, they don't get exposed to the handler. So the handler won't know what he needs to work on. There's a weakness here. None of these things happen, and you continue training your dog, and that unexposed weakness suddenly comes to the fore while it could be where you're training really hard because there's a competition and now the pressure's on. That's when the weakness is going to come out, and then you're prone to a sport-specific injury. And by the time that injury comes out, it's an injury. And now there's this huge time where you can't train like you want to. There's a huge repair period, and soft tissue injuries, by the time they're exposed later, they take a long time to repair. And you don't want that. You want these things to be prevented. That's why you do a fitness program. That's why we're here. We point out these things to you. So we'll say, if similarly, no dog is built perfectly. I wasn't. I have got a rotated hip, which I never knew. And then by the time I'm 40, I've got knee problems. You don't want that with your dog. You want to know that these are the areas of concern for your dog. Let's exercise and make them stronger. So when you are training, watch for this. Recover this way for that area of your dog. But you don't get that if you don't have a specialist. And this is some of the common mistakes in DIY fitness programs. So also ignoring your dog's body's temperatures before and after training, warm-ups and cool-downs. This is very, very important. You can't just go into training. A warm-up must be done, and a proper warm-up must be done so your muscle fibers and your dog's body's organs and soft tissues can get into working motion. So if you think of a train pulling out of a station, it goes slowly and then it starts to move nice and easily. You want that to happen with your dog. You don't want to go from the car and train. And we're all guilty of it. I was, because we want to watch the dogs on the field. So if it's your turn, you just go quickly get your dog because everybody's waiting for you. So you go and get your dog and you train. And then when you're finished, you put your dog away because you want to go and watch the next person's dog, and you don't cool down your dog. So the warm-up is really important for injury prevention, and you get a proper warm-up routine, sport-specific routine from a specialist. Your cooling down also really important because you want your dog to have a proper cooling down system. When they finish training, their body core temperature continues to rise for up to 10 minutes. So if you finish training and you just put your dog in the car or in the crate and it's summer like it is now, your core body temperature continues to rise and they are unable to recover. Should your dog even go towards like a heat stroke or something, you don't want those things to happen, because where a dog has had heat stroke, it never ever recovers. It will always not be able to perform on a hot day like it used to. That heat stroke damage is always there. Even if the dog recovers and everything's fine, it will not be able to tolerate heat as well as it did before. So cooling down for optimum repair of the soft tissues, regulation of organs and body core temperature, where you can also stretch the organs. That's really important, especially in summer. Cooling down is just as important in winter too, because when there's cold outside and you've been training, that body core temperature is high, and now you stop training, you don't want it to cool down too quickly to the outside temperature because it will cause cramp. So you want your dog's body temperature to cool down at the proper rate. So cooling down, even in winter, is really important. Then, of course, a big mistake is that you don't have any support from a professional, from somebody who knows what they're doing with your dog. So you don't have any guidelines in the form of technique, mostly for jumping or incorrect use of equipment. We see these dogs on Google, I do, and wow, they are really good, and everybody goes out to buy the peanut, and the dogs are all standing on the peanut, and you see the perfect picture on YouTube or on Facebook, and nobody knows how they got there. If your dog is going onto a peanut, you must realize that this is seriously advanced stage of fitness training, seriously advanced, and you can't just go and put your dog there. You want to get them to do those things properly and safely, because incorrect use of equipment, again, will cause an injury. Or even the little, the paw pods, where the dogs are standing on little paw pods. And if you are structuring them at an incorrect angle for your dog's body, your dog is having to stand there in this awkward shape and is causing constrictions. But you won't know because you don't have the guidance and you don't have the support. So are you doing any benefits for your dog? Or are you actually helping your dog if you're going to go do this on your own? Your big competitors won't do this. They will have a professional. If you take, for example, you take an impact sport like IGP or PSA, it's similar to rugby, or in America, your football, where people are running, they're pounding into one another. Each of those players have their specialist. They have their nutritional specialist, they have their fitness specialist, they have their psychological specialist. And they each have their training to perform. Each rugby player on the field doesn't all do the exact same training. Your wing, which is required for speed on the end to go and score the tries, his fitness regime is very different to the person that's in the scrum, who needs full strength and power in shoulders and core. Really, it's different. And the same thing happens in your professional dog athletes or in your working dogs, your search and rescue, where they have to go and climb and they have to work for long periods of time and they have to maintain high stamina and high endurance, but also strength for climbing and negotiating uneven terrain. So you need the support from a professional to guide you through proper techniques of training and the use of proper equipment. Really important. So when would you have to start your fitness program? When to start? For me, then. You have to start then when your dog was a puppy. That's the best time to start. If you haven't, start now. It's really important. You can start now. If you take even people, if you haven't started training by the time you're 21 and you're still this lanky, tall guy, or you've got these immature muscles, anybody that starts going to the gym from 21, 25 onwards, you can quite quickly change your body shape into exactly what you want for any sport that is required. So start now. If you start now, get yourself a professional sporting athlete specialist for your dog. We assess your dog. We assess your sport and we assess your life. We plan everything around your dog's structure, your dog's sport. We ensure that everything maintains balance with your dog. You're given a plan. It's given to you. You can even access your plan on your phone and you can do all the exercises on there and you can exactly say, how did it go? It doesn't take too long in a day to do it. You can time yourself. You can give me feedback. Was it difficult? What's the problem? And we discuss this via video or in person, however you want to go. And you, as you execute this plan, you will see the benefits in your dog. It's fun. It's not strict training. It's a different kind of training. So you really get into bond and have fun with your dog. So we give you, according to your lifestyle, we do everything according to the correct timetable, the correct time that your dog does, and we increase his progress properly. The worst thing you can do is progress too quickly. If your dog is doing a new exercise, even if it's a sit, but the sit is now particular because it must be in a particular way, a different structure in order to activate certain muscles, it takes up to 2 to 3 weeks for those muscles to engage and understand the new exercise. So be careful if you're going alone that you don't increase the frequency or the intensity of your dog's exercise plan too quickly, because the muscles don't know what those exercises are about and haven't been able to practice what they need for their new exercise. They're not comfortable in the dog's body yet. So we will increase you gradually according to the time, duration, and effort that your dog requires in order to have the maximum benefit of their program. So I hope that was a good understanding as to why you need somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to the sport of your dog. Please don't be fooled by going and looking up Google programs and videos and, oh, my dog can do that, and then do it. Because a balanced program takes many factors into consideration, not just your dog and sport, but we also try and include strength training for the sport. We do flexibility for the sport and your dog's physical conformation. We're looking at cardio health, and we're looking for proprioception or balance, where your dog is in space, how quickly they can recover from an external like a helper slipping or wet ground, so that they don't get injured. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer anything that you may wish to look at. Remember, we are on, you're most welcome to go visit my webpage or pop me an email, and wherever I can help you, I'm happy to do so. Oh, here's my email address. And we are the Biokinetic Canine. I'm happy to help. This is what I really enjoy. I love to see the dogs improve and watch their muscles work and how they enjoy. I've seen it, how they enjoy to get where they are going, and they can do it so much easier. It is something awesome to see. Even in the breed ring, when one of our club members went there, and you can see the muscles of the dog working, it is just awesome to see. So if you need any help with anything, please pop me an email. I'm happy to help. Have an excellent weekend. Have fun training your dog, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers, everybody.